informing you. The times are back. The mighty university is back to polls. Who is the next guild president of MUST? MUST Guild decides 2022. Don't miss the exclusive coverage of this yet another historical election. Only on
Hello everyone, a good evening. Still at ATV, that is empowering youth in technology, with your hosts Bridget Nsimenta and Mr. Sankara Bianhanga. We've been able to take you through the whole guild presidential journey from day one up, and we are doing this for the betterment of the students too, to give out what the different cadets have to give out, the different interests they have, and how they are ready to run MUST. Who is the guild president? We are all waiting to see after just one day. Come this Friday, we shall be able to have the leader who will lead MUST, with the four candidates that we are having on the panel tonight, and that is Mr. Myanja Isaac, then Mr. Mugenyi Justus Kizito, then with Mr. Mugambe Victor. The fourth candidate is also on the way coming,
Yes.
and we are waiting.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much, and we welcome you to this live broadcast. You who just joined us, this is 2022 MUST Guild presidential candidates, and we are having a live discussion with them. It's not nothing else but, a look into their manifestos, what they're about to actually do for their students in case they are voted into. Just like Comrade Bridget told you, we have 3 of them already in the house, but also another one, of course, missing, and that is unfortunately Comrade Beda Witness. We believe perhaps he's going to be joining us very, very shortly. In case you're not in Barara, you need to be informed that it is actually drizzling. Quite a number of issues that could actually deter someone from making it here in time. But having said and talking about time, we are already late by 12 minutes. We promised this is going to run from 5 to exactly 6 p.m. because candidates, of course, are actually engaged. So we believe 1 hour is going to be enough. And this is actually how we are going to roll. We are about to allow these candidates to introduce themselves, swiftly or quickly, but later give them another chance to take us through in brief about their manifestos. And immediately after that, they could actually have a chance to critique anyone else's manifesto. But later, we are going to give you a chance to his viewing to ask questions depending on what they would have said, and limited to manifestos. If the question actually is outside the manifesto, unfortunately, we might not actually be able to read it. They are going to respond, and after that, they could actually drop some closing remark, because we believe at that time you should have really understood each manifesto as said by each candidate. Having said that, we cannot actually roll on further than this. We should be able to roll to our candidates already in the house with an opportunity for them to actually say welcoming remarks, and each one of them is actually going to use only 2 minutes to do that. 2 minutes or less. Who should go first?
Let's start from the left.
The left.
On my left.
Okay. Let's mention the name of the candidate, and they should be able to roll first.
We are starting with Mr. Myanja Isaac.
Okay.
At exactly 5 p.m. on this second day of February 2022, gallant ladies and gentlemen of my University of Science and Technology, I greet you all. Today is not just the 2nd of February. Today is just any other day, but 32 years ever since we came into existence. Today, we have an opportunity to correct our past. Today, we have an opportunity to follow the conviction of our past. Today, we have an opportunity to have a realization of our present today. And today we have a very immense opportunity to envision our future. And we come here today, ladies and gentlemen, to make a bold decision, to take a bold step, discuss, dissect our manifestos, these are not just manifestos, but this is exactly how we feel about what we talk about. This is exactly what we want to see in our institution, the Students' Guild of Mumbai University of Science and Technology. Gallant ladies and gentlemen of Mumbai University of Science and Technology, now is the time, like we said, like we have always said, now is an opportunity for us to take the wheel. Now is an opportunity for us to take a direction that will lead us where we ought to be. We should forever remember that the power and the decisions of our future always lie in the decisions we make. And that is a judgment we ought to take today, and now gives us an opportunity to decide and get to know who should exactly be the person to take over our wheels. And that is how Myanja Isaac comes in the puzzle. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Started at a quarter past and made it actually in time. Yes.
The system in other universities is designed that it favors mostly the students, but it's very, very much unfortunate to realize that the system designed at Mumbai University is designed in a way that it favors the administration. Ladies and gentlemen, on the 8th of June 2021, the whole nation went into a lockdown, and just within the 2 weeks of the lockdown, Mumbai University top management sent a directive and a command to the students to start online lectures. On that very eve, other universities tried to do the same, but because they had leaders who were in for the students, they instead asked for an opportunity to at least consult the students. Ladies and gentlemen, Mugenyi Justus Kizito is right here before you to portray himself as a roller coaster of advocacy, to portray himself as a ray of hope for the commonest mass student. A lot has been transpiring, but I can surely tell you, I am that guild president. I am that guild president that shall stand in for you in sin and sick. I thank you so much.
Wow. Thank you very much, Comrade. Okay, let's welcome Comrade Victor.
Thank you. My name is Mugambe Victor, and I really believe that in times like this, we really need a leader who will take us to become better and better as a university. When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road that we're trudging seems all uphill, when our funds are low and the debts are high, when we want to smile, but we have to sigh. Ladies and gentlemen of Mbarara University, I'm telling you that it is at this very moment that we need a leader who's going to take us in front, a leader who's going to make us better as people. I believe that with all that has happened, I believe that even in the hard times of COVID, we have suffered as students. We have been bruised by retakes. We have had problems which haven't been solved. And I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that the future of Mbarara University of Science and Technology should be given to someone who will be accountable for everything they are saying. And ladies and gentlemen, looking at you today, I want to tell you that the name still remains, and the name will always be Mugambe Victor, to take us through this next phase of our lives. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you so much, our dear candidates, for that brief introduction. It was just 2 minutes for everyone, and now we are just going to move straight into your manifestos. We want you to bring it to light to the people out there. They want you to know what you are going to do for the university, because a lot have been said, we've discussed a lot, but they haven't had that bit of your manifesto. Someone just has it in mind, welfare, but they do not know what is in the package of that. Just still starting with the person at the other end, Mr. Myanja Isaac. Only 5 minutes for every candidate as we proceed.
Yes, and to inform you who is viewing us, that this is an opportunity awarded to these candidates without, interrupting supporters, without any other interruption, with this calm mode, to actually feel the articulation of what they are promising the must student. Comrade Isaac Muyanja goes first. What tops your manifesto, sir?
Thank you so much, Comrade Sankara. On 28th October 1989, this institution came into existence. And little did we know that today would be another day for us to continue existing. But over these past 32 years, a lot has always happened. A lot has transpired. But what always remains is Mbara University of Science and Technology keeps going. This should always be a wake-up call and a reminder that this institution, mighty as it is not about individuals. This institution, mighty as it should be, should never, ever in its existence be about individuals. When I come here to talk about my agenda, when I come here to talk about what we intend to push forward as students of my University of Science and Technology, it's not about me as Muyanja Isaac. It's about everybody of us. I have to say this. This should never be about me, and that's why you always hear us talking about we, because at the end of the day, it's about us. Us and us. Ladies and gentlemen, our manifesto is something organic, something beyond forgery and imitation, something that is beyond exactly what you see on paper, something about how we feel, that we have always said. We are talking about 3 tenets we have always split in our manifesto. First being warfare, like the moderator said. A lot is being talked about warfare, but in this case, our warfare can be broken down into medical warfare, social warfare, spiritual warfare, economic warfare, name it. In this case, if a student is at university and they need to seek medical attention, where do they go, ladies and gentlemen? Do they just go to a building near Gents Flats, a building adjacent to MPP, a box of Panadol, and just be treated to the same that they have always been exposed to? We are saying enough is enough. This is a university, public university at that, but never will you ever see anything like university medical officer. We need that to happen. People in Chumuro are having a clinic, but is it functioning to the best of their want? What is the balance between this 0.3 billion shillings we raise in terms of medical warfare or medical insurance versus the bare minimum we receive in terms of medical care? If someone has been referred to the referral hospital, what is the referral system? Where do they get the help they need? That is something always have to look at. There is something about the guild fee. What are some of the services we receive via the guild fee? This is the warfare we're talking about. There is something about our academic spaces. Ladies and gentlemen, we've seen most of our people being subjected to horrendous retakes, horrendous treatment of the examination policy. And this we speak with passion. Because look here, ladies and gentlemen. We went home, like my comrade said. We went home. None of us knew that the pandemic would come here. We came back, and we were subjected to more of the same. The university designed a schedule that was not within the means and the feasibility of our stay as students. A lot was violated as regards the examination policy. We're talking about a situation where the semester load that was supposed to be covered within 17 weeks was compressed in 15 weeks. We're talking about a situation whereby the semester load that was supposed to be covered in first semester was pushed to the second semester. A situation whereby the Article 3.55 of the examination policy was not followed. Mode of appeal in the 2 weeks of the next regular semester. This subjected most of our colleagues to horrendous retakes like we have always described them. And nobody in those offices, the academic registrar, the Senate building, people who approved the results, rather the Senate, people who approved the results, nobody looked through all these psychological, economic, and academic upheavals we faced courtesy of the pandemic. These are the issues of warfare talking about. Let's look at our academic spaces. When you move to upper faculty today, you realize that the first year class of procurement, BBA, BSAF, economics are not able to fit within those small buildings they are having. I'm not going to promise that we are going to enlarge those buildings. But what I'm going to promise is we are going to let these people know that they should forever and should never, ever think that they should ever do things in their interest but never in our interests. People are never given enough academic concentration. They're never given the best of the service they receive. And this, by domino effect, always leads to where we get. There's so many issues we can talk about as regards welfare. Our Wi-Fi connection. We're talking about the Research and Education Network Uganda. That is the same service provider for all public universities. The same service provider is providing for Makerere and Mbarara. But Mark Air is way, way, way better than Mbarara University Mast Wi-Fi. Where do we get this now? This leads us to who subscribes, who gets the subscription. That is where the problem comes. We need to increase the bandwidth because it's still the same 50,000 we pay every student. People in our areas of residence always need subscription for DSTV, but they never get to get this subscription. We are talking about halls of residence. We're talking about areas of residence. Welfare in these places is really alarming. Ladies and gentlemen, our second tenet of the manifesto is about our personal development and skills development. Yes, it's true we have 6 months in office, but yes, it's never about the 6 months in office, but it's always about how we utilize even the slightest of the day that we spend in office. We're talking about the Research and Innovation Hub. This is a University of Science and Technology for Christ's sake, but this is a university that you're not going to stress anything about it. Today we have Kira Motors from Makerere. It was engineered from the College of Engineering, Design and Art. We need something that is going to come from the University of Science and Technology. And lastly, it's about our identity as an institution. What are we known for? Sports people. What are they known for? Which sport are we known for? So ladies and gentlemen, as I wind up, I want to assure you that this is an organic manifesto at that, and we are coming, implement all this, we are laying foundations, and nobody is going to doubt us. We are building a guild. Nobody is going to ever despise again because it's about students, for the interest of the students and by the students. Thank you so much.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Just to give you a small preamble about my manifesto, it's very, very unfortunate to realize that we're into another academic year, but we do have our colleagues who are into another academic year but without results of the 2 previous academic semesters. Just like I said before in my introduction, after the university forcing us to go into online lectures, they didn't go ahead to at least give us a space to at least address our issues. I am saying abnormal times call for abnormal adjustments. The fact that the university gave us a go-ahead to go into another academic year, it's very unfortunate to realize that results have just come back 2 days ago. Now, these results have come back and we do have more than 50 students who have retakes. And those are just results of the previous semester. That's first semester. And they haven't yet got results of the second semester. Now, how about if results still come back of second semester and we get students who have failed at least 15%? Now, these students are meant to go back and redo this, actually to have a dead year. Yet the university gave us a go-ahead. What is my concern here, ladies and gentlemen? My concern here is, let us have a leveled ground between the students and the administration. The system should be a little bit inclusive. We shouldn't look at a tilted trajectory that only favors the administration. The fact that we started 80%, actually 100% of the semester was studied online. Our contract with the university is to have physical engagements. But in a situation whereby the university comes and requests us, actually commands us to adjust and succumb to online lectures, I do believe there should be also some adjustments in some of the policies. Allow me to start with the retake policy. Ladies and gentlemen, it's very, very unfortunate that the university, up to now, is still giving students retakes. Yet the circumstances in which students studied in, the environment, the condition, was not favorable to them. We are demanding for at least a leveled ground. We are saying, at least if these students can't be at least meant to progress normally, just like they had given us a go-ahead, the students should be given supplementary exams. Just last week, we had 48 students of Mbarara University, after results were released, who were summoned by the academic register academic registrar because of examination malpractices. And these students' fate is still hanging. No one knows what's going to happen to them. We are going to lose very many students just because of how the system is designed. Ladies and gentlemen, for the 4 years I've been at Mbai University, I've witnessed and I've evidenced very many guild aspirants who have always talked, who have always promised. We have heard all the nice and beautiful manifestos. Yes, they are fancy so much to hear, but as a matter of fact, I really want to let you know that these manifestos are recaps of the failed solutions of the previous aspirants. These are things that have always failed. These are things that are always sung, that have been said on frequent occasions. But just as Mugenyi, I am here to tell you that my manifesto was crafted and it's built on the time I'm bound to be in office, and it's based on practicability. I want to promise you what I can achieve within the 6 months. For information, this regime shall only last in office for only 6 months. I don't want to promise you what I can't achieve. But to start with, about the retake policy, we are saying, let the university allow students, more so for the previous academic year, let the university allow students to progress. These were abnormal and unprecedented situations. We were in a lockdown, and the challenges that come along with online studies, it's something that at least should be appreciated by everyone. But in a situation whereby the university comes on and it doesn't even adjust on some of the policies like the retake, I feel it's a little bit biased. And secondly, also about a policy called fees policy. Ladies and gentlemen, it's also very unfortunate to realize that just last semester, after spending 80% of our time outside the university, buying our own data, the university went an extra mile to make students pay 100% full tuition and functional fees. And for those who defaulted to pay, were meant to miss examinations. Apparently, I have a colleague who is not with me in the same year just because he failed to raise at least the percentage that the university required. But I am saying, as an aspiring government, we are saying let the university at least be a little bit considerate to these students. Let the university accommodate students who, even if I've paid a percentage, to be allowed to sit for the examinations. Why? Why am I saying this? The university has a guarantee and collateral. It has the security. And what is the security? The security is that you want to graduate or you want to get your transcript if you don't clear these dues. And as a matter of fact, I want to make this clear. The university doesn't necessarily run on our money. It's not our money that runs the university. Right now, we do have 90% of the students who haven't cleared tuition, but lectures are ongoing. The university is running normally. And how does the university run? The university runs basing on the money that they request to the government through the Ministry of Finance. When for us students pay money, this money goes to URA, and URA compensates the government, and that's how the university runs. So I do believe the university can still run even without our own money. Yes, it's very, very much required, but 90% of the university students pay school tuition 1 week to examinations. Actually, most of my friends even pay 2 days to examination. But the university from the start is always running normally. So I'm thinking, as an aspiring government, the university should be a little bit considerate. And also, our package also about the fees policy. We are saying, our government shall be so much friendly. We shall be so much friendly. We shall stand in for those students. We are looking forward to raising something called, to restructuring something called a guild fund. We are going to be very much friendly to the students and as well to the administration. We can stand in for these students such that they can be meant to at least be registered provisionally, such that, of course, that's if someone presents better reasons as to why maybe they don't have, if something is at least proven beyond doubt that yes, you are defaulting just because you are in, it's an inevitable circumstance, you can't raise the tuition, we can stand in for you as a friendly government. Ladies and gentlemen, if there's anything that I would want to achieve in my term in office, is I first of all want to redefine the roles of the guild president. What is the role of a guild president? A guild president is supposed to be a student's advocate. A guild president is supposed to be someone who advocates and fronts the interest of the students. But what has been happening at Mbai University, I can say this without fear or favor, we have been having guild leaders who instead have been fronting the interest of the administration. What the administration wants and what the administration direct. They instead defend and come back to us, to the students, and give us proper justifications as to why some things have been decided. Yet in actual sense, the guild president is supposed to question and sanction these decisions on behalf of the students. And that's why we want to advocate for an inclusive and consultative mode of approach in decision making. Before the university comes out with any directive, before the university comes out with anything, we students should first of all be consulted. We do have representatives. We do have class leaders. We do have GRCs. These people should be consulted. Basing on the previous events that have been unfolding, you realize that the university has been just directing. And not until they realize that, yes, they have made a mistake, that's when the university comes in. As an aspiring government, what are those simple basics? We are here majorly for academia. And I do think, as a guild president, I have to look forward to things that shall, to those small basic services that shall enhance academic excellence. To start with, it's very, very unfortunate to live in a university of science and technology, and we do not have even the smallest basic service like Wi-Fi, yet we still have lecturers who are insisting that we should have online lectures. Just 2 days ago, I went into a class during our class campaigns, and I got a class of more than 300 students, but fitting in a very small room, and the lecturers were straining so much hard to speak to these students. Before we look at a retake policy, we should look at also the key reasons as to why people get retakes. We shouldn't look at the end point. Not that when someone gets a retake, what do? We should look at how does someone get a retake. And these are some of the reasons that's why someone is getting a retake. I am saying, what's wrong with the guild president advocating for the procurement of this public address system in these lecture rooms? Because I know we can't erect structures right now because of the small income that we have, but at least we can have a small remedy to the challenges that students have. Having more than 50 students studying on corridors is very much disturbing.
I think you may need to get near a conclusion, yes?
Okay. Just maybe you realize time is not on our best side, but about what I think is much priority about our manifesto. It's about student leaders empowerment. We do have class presidents, we do have GRCs, but these people are left out in the dockets that are always represented in the guild leadership. These people, I do believe, should be motivated, first of all. In my government, I do believe class presidents should be entitled to a weekly allowance, because these people actually do the most donkey work in the university. These are the people who have so much in touch with the students.
Wow, thank you very much. Let's hear from Comrade Victor. Comrade Victor, I think we may need to switch on our microphone. Is it? Okay.
Okay, fine. I'll repeat what I said. Student leadership shouldn't be about advocacy only, like my friends want to make it look like. Student leadership should be more about solving problems. Yes, we have to advocate for certain things, but we also need to solve problems. Now, my manifesto is very clear, and it is from the fact that must has to go to a certain level than it is now. And that's why we called it the must we want manifesto. There is a certain type of must that we all dream about as students. I have 8 strategic key points that I want to talk about today in this manifesto. Number 1, we should have a change in the land usage policy of government in must. Now, we are saying that the university, the government, through the university, in most cases, has taken over everything, and it goes up to the point of constructing a building and renting it to, for example, CPAS or Buffalo. We are saying that shouldn't be the case. We are saying, why not create land to the guild and we start renting out these places? That strategy solves a problem. It removes monopoly. And when it removes monopoly, problems of high prices of food will go down. Now that's what we call solving problems. We shall be having this. And then secondly, we should have a good and accountable governance, both of the university and a good leadership. I want to be very clear on what I'm saying. We have 6 months, like it has been stated. And the Constitution, I never wanted to bring it at this point, but the reason of the Constitution is very clear. Article 9, Section 4, Subsection 5 of the Presidential Elections Act is very clear. We are not supposed to have a finalist standing for issues of accountability. Because at the end of the 6 months, this is what is going to happen. I will be a student for 1 more year. Others won't. I don't know if you guys understand what I'm talking about. This is what we are talking about, and it is really, really necessary for us to understand. Number 3, when I talk about housing of students, I talked about this. We have 2 kinds of negotiations which are happening. A student with a hostel owner. Now, in that kind of scenario, what happens is this. The hostel owner is a businessman. They will love to exploit someone. I know of a hostel which is so, the room is so small, but the guy always charges the students with a lot of money. And that thing is somehow called, and it is for freshers only. It's every semester, actually every year. It's a fresher, it's a fresher, it's a fresher. Now that's what we call exploitation. We are saying that the student guild should go into such things. How? Let us put minimum standards for a hostel to house students of must. We are solving a problem. Let us put that, and it is very simple. We can just have the hostel owners have an association. We get them and we give them certain guidelines on what they are supposed to do. Number 4, we should have a zero tolerance to poor service provision of the university to students. That is very, very simple to work on. Let us make sure that people are held accountable of whatever they do. Why should we be paying money and that money isn't used? Now that is a role of advocacy, fine, but it still solves a certain problem. Number 5, we have a strategy of having a policy of the good being considered in granting tenders to supply goods and services. Now, people always talk about things like the tuition policy, things like what. But like my colleague said, we should start developing ourselves. We should start taking ourselves to a certain new level. Why can the university offer us something that's as the students good? We use them, we create associations of students, 5, 10, and we have capital for us to make sure that we do something which is good with our lives and stay at school, at the university. So I'm saying that is also another strategy we can use. Strategy number 6. It is on academic excellence, research projects. Now, this is very, very key. What happens at MUST is this. In most cases, people want marks. They want marks for students for the research projects. So we are saying, why can't we have an incentive for people doing their research projects apart from marks? Because that's why you have ghost researchers. So we are saying, why can the student guild try to come up with something which, for example, we talk about media. Why don't we publicize these things? Why don't we publicize the research? Why don't we publicize these things? And it's very simple. Let us use media. Let the world know what we are doing. Let us put science fairs at the end of every semester. We have such things, and then our government will make sure that people get scholarships, they get funding, and these are very simple things. We are solving a problem. Strategy number 7, as I complete. On health, it is on health service provision. It's very simple. My colleagues have always been talking about, we don't have this, we don't have this, we don't have this. Fine. Me, I'm tired of lamenting. I'm saying, why can't we have people who train? Let us train people. For example, in Chumru, let us train students to give first aid. How is that a bad strategy? Let us do that. And in doing that, we are helping solve some things. For example, a certain leader came out and told us they wanted to bring an ambulance. That takes time. We have to make sure that we know that. But I'm saying, why don't we just train these people? Why don't we just have this kind of training and helps us as students when times are needed? Lastly, It's the immediate solution to retakes for the previous semester which we had during COVID. Now, this is very key. And to me, it is really, it touches my heart because friends of mine have had this problem. Now, how do we solve this? The university, like I said once here, can only fail us if it has taught us. And that is why we have the 80% attendance structure. We are saying that if the university didn't teach us, seriously, most classes and students can agree that what we had in online lectures, attendance couldn't go beyond 50%. So in essence, students were not being taught. So we are saying that the university should put a leveled playground whereby students should be catered for, as the university also had its own problems during the COVID era. So simply, yes, as I wind up, like I said earlier, we have a university we all want. We have a university that we all envision. And that university is not in the past and crying so much about what happened in the past or what is not being worked upon. Let us have good leadership which is going to solve problems. And that's my essence in this particular election. I want to come and solve problems. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Victor. As we had programmed this show to run for 1 hour, we are sticking to that. And now we are going into a round of question and answer session, reacting on each other's manifesto, showing how realistic or how impossible some of the key areas are. And then
we can also remind our viewers that they have a chance to drop questions that are limited to these candidates' manifestos. I see Comrade Muyanja raising his hand. This is a democratic space, and that means he should be able to go first. But the session that we are going to now is each candidate have a chance to sort of critique or seek clarification or perhaps supplement on each one's, manifesto. Any candidate of his choice, he should be able to do that. But you who is watching us on YouTube, please kindly drop a question to any of these candidates that is actually about what they just talked about, because that's what tops their manifesto. Thank you.
Thank you so much, our dear viewers. What has been common amongst us is the issue of the examination policy. And for our people viewing us, we want to make this categorically clear. The examination policy we're talking about is the one that was amended in 2006. And a lot has been common and a lot has been talked about. But what we are trying to say in this case is the solution is the same people who awarded us the retakes need to know that a lot was violated. A petition, by the way, is running around and people are responding. And like we said, most of us who have seen the petition have seen people's testimonies. People cannot believe their eyes. People cannot believe what they are seeing on their portals. And this is what we are saying. The solution, number one, is the Senate, to which the academic registrar acts as a secretary, under the Universities and Tertiary Institutions Act of 2001, provides for one, under Article 42, provides for the Senate to make an academic policy, one that fits within the times. They need to make this recommendation to the University Council. And the University Council, under Article 41, being the supreme body of the university, can take a decision. Then two,
Comrade Mayanja, yes, the reaction is to which candidate?
Now I'm making a reaction to what my brother Victor talked about. He talked about something about research, projects, and incentives. Well, under our manifesto, we talked about the Research and Innovation Hub. And this is something that is going to bring everybody. Where we are today is called Empowering Youth in Technology. This was incubated and birthed from Bio University of Science and Technology. We can have more of this coming through, and that is the hub we are bringing in place. Then the issue of media. The guild, Students Guild, has a must editor. What is the work of this editor? We need to go beyond the rhetorics, by the way, brothers and sisters. These people only come to the guild, they siphon our allowances and go scot-free and have maybe some good Kodak moments. We are saying everybody needs to go back to the drawing board and they do what they're supposed to do. A must editor, we said we need to have the must times coming in place. It's as simple as just developing a draft, talk about people's projects, talk about people's businesses,
Comrade Mianja,
give them avenues, improve themselves, and sell their ideas.
Thank you
so
very much. Comrade Victor, you have just a minute to, in case you need to drop a comment to what he just talked about, your promise.
All right. Actually, I'm glad that he has picked a leaf from what I've been talking about. I talked about the idea of us using media, and I'm very happy that you are using it. Then secondly, I want us, as we discuss the retake policy, it's necessary to understand the reason for having, for example, 15%, isn't it? We must understand the reason why the university did that. And if we understand that, then we can have capacity to negotiate a better deal. But if we just go for, like some people just want to go and maybe go to the bush or do what, without a clear reason for negotiation and a startup point, then we are on the wrong cause. So we are saying that let us first understand why did the university put that, and it's clear. They wanted to keep a certain standard for master students, isn't it? Secondly, let us go to the fact that we had the online lectures and physical exams. Let us raise that to around 30 or 45%. That is understandable. So if we are negotiating, we do not just start by striking. We don't just start by just talking anything. We are supposed to go there with ideas and talk about things which are understandable, even by the person you want to get something from. I don't know if I'm very clear.
Comrade Victor, you're absolutely clear. Do you have any reaction? Okay. Comrade Justice takes that. I hope you're not going to react to this again. Yes.
Can I just maybe react just a minute? Well, you see, ladies and gentlemen, syncing is cost-free. You're entitled to sync the way you want, and you're entitled to comprehend whatever you want. But we should be very, very, very much sensitive and inquisitive about what we think about. The first debate, when I talked about going to the bush, I really want to categorically make it clear here. We should differentiate between violence and activism. Just as Mugenyi, just like I've always been saying it out, my plan B as Justice Mugenyi is activism. Even in gender, we do have activism. Even in climate change, we do have activism. Activism is all about fighting for your rights if at all the patience has been overstretched. I so much acknowledge the fact that, yes, as a government, I have to really negotiate with the subordinates and the people who are really going to work with us. The administration is very, very much key for us to always be okay with them in very, very much good terms. But I am saying, I'm one of the people, for those who know me, I'm very, very much principled. And I'm someone who shall always follow the right procedures to achieve something. But a principled person is someone. I am that person who shall have a maximum threshold. I am that person, if at all, I've used all the means. I've written all the many letters. I've visited your offices. I've come for all the several engagements with the different stakeholders, but I've still failed to get results. Ladies and gentlemen, I am saying my plan B shall be activism. What's wrong with carrying a Manila card, having my demands, and moving around with the media around to publicize my grievances? I am saying I won't preside over an institution whereby I can spend 6 weeks or 3 months negotiating over an issue that I feel should be given some urgency. That's not something to even debate about. I am not that guilty president, and I don't want to sugarcoat. I am that guilty president who won't have 1 month negotiating about that we need lectures, physical lectures, yet we are at the expense of our parents who are paying tuition and functional fees. And we're in our hostels, not having lectures. You eat and sleep without having lectures, yet you are meant to come here and have lectures. And you tell me I should negotiate for more than 8 weeks. No, that can't happen in my regime, ladies and gentlemen. I've told you I shall use the rightful means. But we shall have a maximum threshold, and that is activism. Comprehend that is activism. I stand for activism, not violence. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Stands for activism and not just not violence. Okay, this should actually go again to anyone. I would think we need to give the microphone to Victor, not for any other reason, but to sort of react to any of those two manifesto, please.
Now, I've been on this earth for some good time. There is nowhere I've never seen or heard anything whereby the bush is somehow connected to activism. Nowhere. And you are saying, when I'm talking about the bush, I'm not talking about violence, but activism. Doesn't really make sense. But what you are saying is right to a certain extent. Now, if we go to activism, you see, negotiations are supposed to have a certain threshold. And we say, if we do not get this, then we do this. Isn't it? So we are saying, and like I said, and personally, I also never said that we are going to negotiate for the rest of our lives. Why would we do that? Listen, students of Must, I'm a very brilliant chap. I know how to play my cards well. And trust me, that if the law of force, if the logic of force fails, then personally, as Mugambe Victor, I will make sure that I will do everything in my power, even to go back to the first step, which was to use negotiations. So sometimes even the strikes may not work. You get, and you have to go back to the first step. So we are saying that regardless of how we are starting, regardless of where we are going, we have to make sure that we have an end result, not just shouting or going to the bush. It's as simple as that. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Now, in the interest of time, comrades, you're going to allow me run through a few questions that actually rolled over through YouTube. Nabasa James, you say, my question goes to the NUP candidate. How are you going to engage in struggle as the main aim of your party? He's talking about, I think, the national struggle of the National Unity Platform. At the same time, solving students' problems. Well, the last statement is kind of rude, but if I must read it as put, or you used red to steal people's minds. Well, he's asking about how you're going to balance the national struggle and, you know, making sure what you just talked about is achieved.
Well, to start with, I first of all want to make this clear. I painting myself red or coming under the National Unity Platform, it's a fundamental right that every Ugandan is entitled to. Every Ugandan has a right to affiliate themselves to any political party that they believe has the same ideology that they have. Like I said before, sinking is cost-free. Like he can sink the way he wants, but I really want to tell you this. For some, just like the way his question is, that how will I juggle the national interest of the party and the students? Now, where are students? Do students study from? Are students not nationals? Nationals, I think it's all about the country itself and the people who live in the country. In the university, this is all national. A university is a national institution. So we students now, does it mean that when I leave university, when I go back to my village, I cease from being, like, okay, when I leave my home, I come to campus, do I cease to be a national? That's why I said thinking is cost-free. Let us be a little bit also elaborate enough. And I am saying, my answer to him is that the party that I stand for stands for an ideology that believes in the rights of the commonest person. And that's what I stand for. Just like someone who has evidenced how the university has been running, I've seen several rights of the students that have been curtailed by the people who are supposed to instead protect it. That's why I am in this race, painting myself as the National Unity Platform because of the ideology they stand for. I am here to fight for the rights of the students. I am here to better represent the students. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. I see Comrade Muyanja raising your hand. Unfortunately, we are limited, so 30 seconds, like really, tick-tock. Go.
I want to make this categorically clear. Muyanja Isaac and the team are vanguards of social justice. That needs to sink in. And in this case, when they ask you about national struggles, they understand the fact that, yes, the students you are going to lead, they are nationals and internationals. So what they're talking about in this case is not just the people you are talking about, it's about the issues affecting the students at a national level and at a basic level. So as our generation, what really is main put is how we engineer our mindset to be politically awake, to be economically awake and socially awake about the environment, the internal milieu of where we exactly exist. So one thing I have to say is, as president, and of which we are going to be president, what we are going to focus on is how we mindset ourselves, engineer our mindset to be cognizant with the fact that as the generation, we have to stand up, raise above our shoulders, keep our heads high, and be ready for anything that infringes on our rights.
Okay.
That's the social justice we are talking
Well,
about.
thank you very much, Muyanja Isaac over there. Trust me, because of time.
No,
Oh,
can,
anyway.
can I just have...
Oh, please, 30 seconds.
Yes. It's very, very unfortunate to get a wording from my brother here. One of the reasons as to why I'm in this race is that I really want to change the norm and the behavior and the culture that has been trailing in our university, whereby the university goes an extra mile to fund some of the candidates in the Guild presidential race, just because the university is very, very much comfortable to work with a compromised Guild president. And that's why they go an extra mile to fund some of them, just like it's next to me here, using our own money that's meant to give us the services.
Well, we want to relate another kind of, back-to-back. Oh my God.
Yes, please.
My God. Well, this is in the interest of their time.
No. Look here, ladies and gentlemen. This is one thing we have to say. The gentleman asked a very, very great question. And the last part of the question was,
Yes.
are you exactly noob, or you're painting yourself in red to steal people's minds? This country has suffered because of opportunists. And so it's a matter of time, by the way. If Muyanja Isaac, as I've been painted from back to back, I'm a university candidate, I have to say this. A university candidate is someone who be having the largest posters around, who be having the most number of posters around, who be having a lot of luxury. Look at them, they're having very fancy suits. I mean, they'll be having all the luxury of doing whatever they can. Ladies and gentlemen, Muyanja Isaac is a brand. And those who know us, and by the way, one thing people need to know is people always read between the lines. A lot of propaganda, a lot of blackmail has been put across, by the way, towards one candidate. But one thing people need to know is the truth, unlike the lies, never changes. And Muyanja Isaac remains an independent candidate with a long history of student involvement and issues of student leadership. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
Watch the space, by the way.
He says, watch the space. Victor there also grabs the microphone. We will give you that chance, yes.
Okay. Now, I really don't know if you're a university project, and I really don't care. Because I know you are not going to win. But also, secondly, to my Noop friend here, I believe Noop is more than just a red beret. It's about what you communicate to people. It's about how you fight for the people. And the lady, I think it was a lady, who asked you a simple question. Are you noob? Or are you just trying to paint yourself face such that you win people's hearts? But you decided to use that opportunity to attack another candidate. So, to the eyes of the world, I want you people to look at these two gentlemen here with the confusion of their identity. Mine is very clear. I stand for the Uganda Young Democrats. People who believe in truth and justice, who say that struggle is our life. We are going to be in this struggle until we give you what we need. So, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to say, apart from the fact that they are here illegally, and actually I want them to respond to that, I mentioned that Article 9, Section 4, Subsection 5 of the Presidential Elections Act prevents you from standing, isn't it? I don't know how you are even here on this debate today. Because the world is watching, and you are saying you follow the Constitution. So please, I request that apart from attacking your identities of NUP, of our university project or what, I really don't care. But I'm saying at least respect the people, the students of MUST, and back out of the rest for the students of MUST. It's as simple as that. Seriously, the world is watching. The world is watching, and unless you are going to give me a clause in a constitution which allows you people to stand, unless you are going to give me that. Otherwise, back out.
Okay, we won't allow the backing out, but trust me, that was allowed. We only just a few minutes ago ordered for fire extinguisher because we thought we could not be actually safe with this. Now, in the interest of time, comrades, unfortunately, questions were limited to Manifesto, the Manifesto remarks made by our comrades here. Unfortunately, most of the comments, you could also visit there, really, do not actually fall in the same. Only that I see a few people asking about Comrade Beda Witness. He was very, very well informed, reminded at least a few minutes to the start of the debate. I see a few of you say he is actually supplying ice cream. Quite a number of it's really on record, but he was reliably informed, kindly to make this clear. Now, comrades, in the interest of time, I understand this is the right time. Of course, you need to go garner your votes. Tomorrow is open air. You need actually to go. We are going to give each one of us at least a minute to close this. Please. Comrade Victor, we could start with you.
Now, mine is very simple. Like they say that we have 6 months for our tenure in office. I'm not going to promise you heaven and earth. I can promise you only 3 things. That I will give you all my time, all my effort, and all my dedication to make sure that we make MUST a better and a greater university. I believe we have to rebrand this university to stop being a university just for some people, but for all of us. I really think that this opportunity, to the fact that I'm even here talking to you, shows that anyone, anywhere, can come out and do anything. I want to thank all those who have believed in me up to this particular level. I want to thank all the people who never gave up on me. And we are here now. And we believe that we are going to win. We believe that come forth, we are all going to vote for Mugambe Victor, because there is no other candidate who qualifies better than me speaking to you. I want to thank you, and I say, succeed, we must. Thank you so much. That's where the solving of problems comes in. First of all, we petition. If we can get as many signatures as possible for this particular cause, then we can clearly save our fellow students. Then also secondly, I believe that the university can be lenient, like it was in the previous semesters. Because even in the previous year, some people had the same issue, and we are allowed to continue because of the particular things which happened. So I believe that we can fight as students and make sure that we work on that. And trust me, you who is scared, if you vote Mugambe Victor, then clearly you won't have to step you won't have to step out. So thank you so much, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
yeah, thank you very much, Comrade Victor there. Now, the question he answered last because we had a technical glitch before, the microphone was not picking. Someone sent in a question saying there's a student who got 2 retakes in the recently released examinations, but he was asking what any of these candidates will actually do if that student get another retake in semester 2. That's what he was answering. So, Comrade Justice, you're going to sign out, but also answering that question. Thank you.
Well, to start with the question, ladies and gentlemen, before we look at the end point of how to solve that student's problem, we should look at, first of all, the causes. We should benchmark from the genesis, from the problems of how are these students getting retakes. The genesis of the problems of the genesis of the challenges of must students is actually the system. The system is not well that designed that it favors the students. It's designed in a way that the students' rights are always curtailed. But however, what I can do about that student is that, of course, when we are put into that position, we shall have all the possible negotiations with the administration. We shall write the very many letters like they want. Of course, we shall have to plead to them. It's all about now pleading right now. It's not about dictation. We won't fight. We are going to at least plead to these people. Because now, the truth is, it's a little bit justifiable, but as well it's not justifiable for those students to get the retakes. But we shall plead on their own behalf as a government. But lastly, ladies and gentlemen, Mugenyi Justice Kizito is here before you, is portraying himself here before you, as that guild president that shall never preside over an institution whereby the management doesn't give courtesy, priority, and urgency to issues, to detrimental pertinent issues that affect students. The university honestly doesn't have to wait, not until students stretch so much hard to express their grievances. That's when they should always respond to our issues. We want an inclusive and consultative mode of approach in decision making before the university comes out with anything. We students happen to be the biggest stakeholders in this institution, and at the end of it all, whatever the university passes out, it's us, the students, who are the sole beneficiaries. So I do believe that at least we should be included in the decisions they make before dictating them to us. And that has to start by the guild president you put in office, a guild president that shall always front your interests. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. We have Comrade Muyanja Isaac.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. My brother Onan asks a very pertinent question at such a time. This takes me back in time. On 28th September 2021, I addressed the issue and I wrote the academic registry. I told them, look here, the letter was referenced retake policy and tuition waiver for the Instati Populari. And Instati Populari in this case means an undergraduate student. And the letter made rounds. Everybody looked at it. Perhaps they made fun out of it. But we were looking in the future, because that is the kind of people the trailblazers are. We look in the future. We saw it coming, that at a certain point, something wrong would happen because of whatever we earmarked in that letter. We highlighted the grievances and situations through which we were doing exams and were existing. We said there's going to be a time when people are going to be subjected to retakes and they would need supplementary exams. We gave them time to read between the lines. And the letter is online and is available on our manifesto, page 11. They will see it. A few days ago, we made the follow-up letter to the same. And we told them that, look here, we highlighted this need, and we told you to look through your options and make sure supplementary exams are available. They did not look into that. A petition is running around. My brother Victor is thinking about a petition that is already in place. It's in place. Be informed. And the petition has a grace period of only 72 hours. We have already moved 36 hours. We have another 36 hours. And we are seeing people's testimonies. What we are saying, Article Section 3.4.1 of the examination policy talks about someone passing after results being obtained after supplementary exam. And like we said, we quoted the Universities and Tertiary Institutions Act of 2001, that the Senate has got the capacity of making a recommendation a recommendation. These are extraordinary times, please. Extraordinary times. Can we have these students doing special exams? Last year, before graduation, we had students doing special exams, supplementary exams, those who were on the verge of repeating their years. Because it was COVID. We can have that, and we have done the work. My brother Onan, I assure you, you've seen the work being done by the Trailblazer. You've seen us fighting for this, and we are saying no student, I said no student should be subjected to horrendous treatment in such a situation of a pandemic, and such academic vagaries need to be condemned in the strongest terms possible. Lastly, as I give my winding remarks, I've been here longest amongst all these candidates who are surviving, who are standing for president. And I've seen them come and exist. Whatever they have done at university, I've seen, other people have seen. And this is always the mark of our leadership. I was asked one of the questions recently, what exactly are you doing in a race instead of mentoring young people? Exactly what we are doing is exactly what we have, that's the honors we have. I've mentored this young man, my brother, Victor, so many times. And I want to make it categorically clear that, because I have to read the Constitution for you and make it clear, that the article and clause that talks about president's standing and the 12th week of the academic of the second semester is always talking about the second semester. The second semester, I'm telling you, the 12th week of the second semester. This is a situation whereby I have to keep educating you. An election will always be held in the 12th week of the second semester. And this is exactly what is explained under that section. Listen. You see, your problem is you speak a lot more than you listen. So, I have to say that during the second semester...
Comrade Victor is asking which article is that you're talking about?
We're talking about an article that talks about when elections will always be held. And we are saying, I have to let you know, it skips my mind. It skips my mind. Those who have the Constitution, if you allowed me to refer to my Constitution, I will refer to it. And you will see it. But one thing I have to say, one thing I have to say is the 12th week of the second semester is always in the second semester. And the finalists in the second semester can decide to throw their hat in the ring of good president. And when they throw their hat in that ring, they may win. And when they win, 12th week, those are 5 weeks towards the end. They may have 5 weeks in office. We are not having 5 weeks in office. Now I've educated you. I've inspired you. As I give my winding remarks. As I give my winding remarks, gallant students of Mbaye University of Science and Technology, like we have said, this is an opportunity for us to make a decision. I love the fact that we have always portrayed maturity in this election. We have listened keenly, and we have heard our candidates speak. We have read between the lines. A lot has been said, a lot has been typed, a lot has been portrayed. But what remains is Mbaye University of Science and Technology Students Guild. And what remains are us. The power lies in the judgment we are going to make on 4th, and the power lies in how we look at issues and critique them. Let's look beyond cheap popularity. Let's look beyond populists. Let's look beyond opportunists. Let's look beyond excitement. Let's look at reason. Let's look at purpose. Let us look at our conviction. Because at the end of the day, it's like we said, it's not just the 6 months, but how we spend the 6 months in office that will matter.
Okay, thank
Today,
you.
The Trailblazer Myanja Isaac.
Thank you,
is
Comrade
my name,
Myanja.
and I want to say it.
That is,
Myanja
that
Isaac,
having said,
the
Comrade
total man,
Myanja.
thank you, thank you,
Wow.
thank you, succeed,
Wow.
we must.
Wow, succeed we must indeed. We believed that they needed this chance. The audience without supporters, the audience without what Comrade Victor usually refers to as noise, a chance to have to hear from them while they are calm, and we gave them that chance at least. We are only sure that tomorrow is open air campaigns, and I believe the Electoral Commission is about to guide how that is going to be carried out. And I believe that is going to be their last platform to showcase what they are actually capable of. And trust me, in today's engagement, you could actually tell who your next guild president is actually. Omugenzi wamutegedde?
Haven't seen.
Okay. Okay, yeah, so that having said, the answer is only with the must students, and those are actually those that will be, qualifying to vote. What I know is that the Electoral Commission released a communication few hours ago informing first years that all you will need is actually you to have is either your former school identity card or the national identity card, because at the end of the day, for you to vote, we will need to verify the picture on your ID and you yourself. That was the reason, because the university has not, a number of first years have not actually captured their photos in the system, and therefore could not have the university identity cards. That, I repeat, first years to vote on Friday, you will actually need your former school identity card or your national identity card.
All right. Thank you so much, Sankara, for that. I'll not go back into what has been said. All I can say is that it is everyone's responsibility to vote. And it is now that you have to decide who you are to vote. Come 4th February, that is on Friday. Let's all be at our different places where we are to vote our candidates. Do not be bribed by anything. You just listen to them. And then come forth. Just take the right guy.
Okay, thank you very much. Remind you that this race has 4 gentlemen. Comrade Isaac Muyanja from the medicine faculty, Comrade Chizito Justus, the one with the red beret, also from the same faculty, and Comrade Victor. Yes, Comrade Victor from the UYD is another candidate here, and also the faculty is called Applied Science. Most of us know it as Chihumuro, but he is another candidate. And there is actually a nepotism seat here that actually represents Comrade Beda Witness, who is also from the same faculty. You're talking about FAST. And, well, he couldn't make it today in this debate, this engagement, but he's other candidate in this. 4 men competing for the same seat. Who is the next guild president is the biggest question that can only be answered by the MUST students. We can only say, please, let's meet tomorrow as these students air out another time of them to air out what they are capable of in the open air campaigns. And the voting still remains 4th Feb 2022. From us at EIT, we promised and we are delivering. And this is how we're going to be rolling. For now, unless you have a final one from you, from me, it's a good night.
The times are back. The mighty university is back to polls. Who is the next guild president of MUST? MUST Guild decides 2022. Don't miss the exclusive coverage of this yet another historical election. Only on
EIT TV, empowering you. You're watching EIT TV, empowering you.
the times Are you planning on having yourself a computer soon? Or do you need to get rid of that fault in your current computer? Are you looking for a trusted computer solution center in Barara? Try us at Think Innovation Inc. For new and refurbished computers, computer repair and maintenance, computer accessories, networking, software installation, and web designing. Find us at Western Arcade, room AF51, or call us now on 0753 975042.